So thank you guys for joining us today. We're joined here by Michael and Aaron. Thank you for joining us. We'll be discussing Man United, both United fans, so I'm not exactly happy to be doing this with you guys today. But, so we'll start with Aaron. What are your thoughts on the season so far, and do you think you finish top four?
The season's been full of ups and downs. But to be honest with you, I kind of predicted it at the start of the season. I said, in certain areas we have to strengthen because we're one or two injuries away from having a crisis and not knowing what to do in that area of the game. And coincidence, Pogba got injured early in the season and we got hit with a lot more injuries, and all of a sudden we just had a crisis and we were forced to play players who didn't really have the quality in midfield. I'm thinking of Pereira. You could say that it's not his fault, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, he's being thrown into the lion's den. He's had to play game after game after game, and he didn't really improve, didn't really offer nothing. So overall, I just think it's been a lot of ups and downs. There was a time where there was even talks of us being close to the relegation zone, which was crazy because we were on such a bad form. And yeah, it's ups and downs, man. Like, if you would have told me at the start of the season, or even when we had the big dip, that by the end of the season we'd be fighting for top four, I probably would have said, listen, you're crazy. So it's a testament to, our season, man. A lot of ups and downs. And right now we're in the mix of top four, man. We're in the mix of getting Champions League football. I think it's still in our hands, even though we drew against Southampton. But yeah, I think we do have to, kind of keep an eye on Chelsea's results and Leicester's results, and maybe hope that they drop points here and there. They both have very busy schedules.
I definitely want Chelsea to beat Liverpool. I can't lie to you. If that meant you lot.
Look at you. What kind of fan is this? What kind of fan is this?
Let them have it. Let them have it. Mike, what do you think? Like, do you think top four is certain, and how would you sum up your season?
You know what? If anyone remembers last season, there's no such thing as certain anymore with Man United. So, it's kind of worrying after that draw against Southampton, because we should be third right now, if we're being honest. That's what we should have been doing. And to concede a goal like that so late in the game was appalling. But I think we should get top four eventually. I mean, we've got West Ham at home. We've got Leicester. So, we're very close to getting there. And what I genuinely do think will happen, if I'm being honest, is I think Chelsea will lose points against Liverpool.
They won't. I'll make
I think Liverpool, because the thing is, I think even though Liverpool have taken their foot off the gas, I don't think they're going to allow themselves to lose another game.
Yeah,
I don't see that happening.
Yeah, especially
at Anfield, and it's going to be the trophy presentation. I think you need to end.
They feel like they owe. Yeah, they'll feel like they owe it to the fans to put on a spectacle before they lift the trophy. I agree with that.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think they will take points, and honestly, what I think will happen is Leicester United will win their games. I think Leicester will get a result against Tottenham one way or another, and then United and Leicester will draw and get Chelsea out of here. So
that would be a big blow, considering that you've spent so much. But for with the Brendan Rodgers that I know, I'm still a bit suspicious about Leicester. They're as good as they have a good team, but they're more than capable of not picking up any points till the end. Like the last two games, they're more than capable of picking no points.
Well, I'll say this: they need to get points, because it's not about the teams that are first. If you're first, it means you're the best. You've done your thing.
Yeah.
But everyone behind you, what the hell's going on? You know what I mean? So it's just testament to how poor this league is. But if we make top four after being 14 points behind before the break, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, Aaron. In terms of next season, obviously we're seeing articles already about Robbie Savage saying that whoever finishes above United next season will win the league, and the front three being as good as that maybe or close to City and Liverpool's front three. What is your expectation for next season? Do you think you can challenge, and if not, what do you think you need to do to get close to City and Liverpool?
I think next season, I don't want to put that type of pressure on the team. I would say this season has been all about getting back into the Champions League. Next season, it's going to be all about making the gap smaller, the gap to not to Chelsea, the gap to City and Liverpool. Try and make that gap smaller, because we're going to strengthen, but don't get it twisted. Like, we're going to strengthen, but other teams are going to strengthen as well. I think next season's Premier League, it's going to be probably the most entertaining and the most, in terms of the title race, it's going to be so entertaining.
Yeah, I agree.
Top 4, top 6, because everyone literally is going to strengthen, and everyone's going to have fresh players, new players, new teams.
The virus might affect that, or you think eventually they'll all start spending again?
I think, even though the virus, has kind of stalled business of a lot of clubs, I think there's still a lot of business to be done by Premier League clubs, especially in the top 6, or whoever's going to fight for those top 6 places. But in terms of United, I think saying that we're going to challenge for the league is a bit premature, in my opinion. I think we're going to have to focus on staying in the top 4. I think that's going to be the next step, and strengthening in the areas that we need. I said it off air. I said a first 11 is good, but a strong bench is even better, because at the moment, you've seen it yesterday in our game against Palace. We've had to bring on Jesse Lingard, who, with all due respect, is not really bringing anything to the team. But if we had someone like a Jack Grealish, or if we have next season someone like a Jack Grealish, and someone is tired, or someone is suspended, or someone's injured, or whatever it is, you can afford to maybe take off a Bruno or a Pogba for that case, and bring on a Grealish and go, you know what, go do your job, because it's a like for like replacement. The quality is not dropping. That's what I'm trying to say. So next season, I think it's all going to be about, because we're going to have more games anyway, because we're going to be in the Champions League, which is going to be a lot harder. For some reason, people think...
Oh, yeah, so we're making it ready. I like that energy. Yes.
For some reason, people think because if we make Champions League football, it's going to be a lot easier because we play on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. No, the intensity is going to be a lot...
Same, yeah.
It's going to be a lot harder than the Europa League, with all due respect to the competition. So it's going to be about doing well in the Champions League, managing the games well, rotating the squad well as well, because of the amount of games we're going to have, and staying in the top 4 in the league.
Yeah. What about yourself, Mike? Same expectations. What do you need to close that gap? Can you get the 90+ points needed for maybe a proper title challenge?
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said off air, I said to you off air that where you guys were blessed is that you didn't have many major injuries, whereas with United, Pogba got injured, and he's been injured for a long time in the season. So now that we really get to see him, and obviously with Bruno, who should have come 6 months earlier. So we do need to improve, and if we do improve in depth, I think we need about 3 or 4 players to try and at least, when I say close the gap, it's not about title challenge, it's about becoming a certified top 4 side again. That's what it's about more than anything, because the teams below City and Liverpool are always iffy. You don't know which Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal are going to turn up. You really don't know at this point. Leicester, no one expected them to be in the top 4 race, and now they're pretty much in there alongside everybody else. Spurs are just behind as well. So we do need to spend. I think with FFP rules also being relaxed, also there's the best chance for United to spend.
Yeah.
Because United generate money anyway. They're not a team that struggles to bring money, to bring income in. If you go and buy a Sancho, the signing of the amount of shirts with Sancho's name on the back, people are going to buy it. Yeah. So you're going to make your money back.
But is Ole good enough though for a title challenge or a title win?
You know what? At this point, I don't think it's about managers being good enough anymore, because I don't feel like a lot of managers and coaches in in the past used to have that much control over things anymore. I think it's very different. It's just about being able to have the man management and then the coaches around you to make the players understand your tactics and go out and play. So, for someone like Klopp he spent money, but obviously that's more because of money being generated by the club. If he didn't sell Coutinho for 100 and something, he's not bringing these players in. That's just what it is. So, but he's a top coach. So he knows how to coach these players, and they know what to do on the pitch. If Ole can coach, which we're starting to see his improvements, 19 games unbeaten, 13 clean sheets, 50 goals scored. So there's something he can do with this team. And if you give him better players, he could potentially be good enough. So we'll see what happens next season if these players do come in.
So like you were talking about FFP, City's ban was overturned for insufficient evidence, and that tells me that obviously there was evidence showing that they're guilty, but it wasn't enough. So Aaron, what are your thoughts? Like what do you think where do you think football is going, you know, after this? Because I'm with that ruling, I'm guessing FFP is no more, and there's no need to have it anymore. People might as well just do what they want.
Absolutely, you just said it there, man. Like, if this is what we're going to start doing, then why bother? Why did we even start having the FFP in the first place? Like, why? Do you know what I mean? Because now other clubs that maybe did get sanctioned in the past are looking at this like, hold on a minute, they didn't get sanctioned, but why did we get sanctioned? I'm talking about teams like Barcelona, teams like Atletico Madrid that had a ban in the past. So they're looking at this like, hold on a minute, we got banned for doing what we did, but they didn't get banned. So what's going on? What's the point of having FFP? Do you know what I mean? And my question is, if you're not guilty, then why did you have to pay 10 mil?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because if you're not guilty, then you don't have to pay anything, do you? So if you're not guilty, so to say, like they said in the official statements, why did they have to pay 10 mil? So that proves that somehow they are guilty of what they did. So it's just really, it's unfair, man. It's really unfair. I don't agree with. I don't agree with a lot of what Mourinho says. Yeah. But when Mourinho said that is what did he say again? It's
that disgraceful.
It's disgraceful.
Either you don't find them or you find them guilty. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't find them and then find them guilty. Like, and I think
there you go.
Eventually, as football fans, we need to stop, I guess, looking at the club and start looking at the people making those decisions. Like, if you're going to bring something in, either you do, because no one's asking for it. You're the one that kind of brought it in. So
you know what it is? Like, you know what it is? Galatasaray got away with it years ago. And when it first happened, and I knew that we heard that City were taking it to cash, in my mind, I was just thinking, if Galatasaray, who do not have the spending power of PSG and City, can get away with it, you're not stopping these two, because PSG got away with it also. Like you guys said, if you're not guilty or something, why do you get fined 10 million and then you make a statement saying we welcome the 10 million pound fine? Like, all right, cool, we're good with that then. That's easy. That's because you know you've done something wrong, and their only grievance was, we got our emails hacked. Yes, that is an illegal thing to do, but that also proved that you're guilty yourself, because now you're sweating. You know, so if these guys are getting away with it, City are gonna get away with it, and then other clubs. So let's say Newcastle get taken over. Newcastle could do the same thing. They could spend a load of money, and then they could say to you, "What did you do with City? Why are you coming for us now?"
Exactly.
Because Cass gave them freedom, so why are you coming to us now? And then on top of that, we also got to consider that. Well, I read this. I don't know how much truth there is to it, but apparently some clubs have the more financial power than UEFA itself. So they have the money to go and get these top dollar lawyers way over UEFA and just say, look, this is what we were going to do and this is what it is. So they're just in a position of weakness, but they need to try and maintain their strength. As far as I know, when CAS make a decision, UEFA can go to a higher level and appeal again. If you firmly believe that City are guilty, forget about £10 million fine. Go even higher and say, no, you were proving that you were guilty. You're not playing this competition for 2 years. And do that. Don't accept it and then just keep it moving, because you're going to be back in another 5 or 6 years anyway, saying another ban for them. It's the same cycle over and over. So,
but is football without FFP good? Because I seen Jamie Carragher say, obviously that's one of the good reasons why we're seeing different title winners. You know, you had Roman Abramovich go to Chelsea, do the same. The City guys come in. Now we've got City, United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, all title winners, right? And without hope, maybe with Newcastle coming in to do the same, but with FFP, none of these guys can spend the same way, and you have your typical traditional clubs winning over and over again. So, Aaron, do you reckon football without FFP is a good thing for the competition?
Football without FFP, well, in my opinion, if I had to be very honest, obviously it's not good, because like you say, you'd have the same teams winning the league over and over again. But again, looking at the situation with Man City, you're looking at this and going, what's the point of having FFP? Because what's the point of having it if a team like City, or a team with the spending power of City or PSG or whatever it is, can just get their ban overturned like that? Because remember, like it was a 2-year ban, and players like De Bruyne were coming out and, you know, giving little hints as to, you know, I want to stay here, but if we get banned, I can't see myself playing football without Champions League. Like he's saying he wants to leave without really saying it. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, it's not fair, man. It's honestly not fair. Yes, football without FFP is not fair because the same teams will win the league over and over again. But if the FFP is there and teams like City get their bans overturned over and over again just by paying a couple of millions here and a couple of millions there because they do have it, then what's the point?
Yeah, I think FFP is a good thing. I mean, if I'm being honest, it's not only about teams that make it to Europe. It's about making sure that clubs balance their books. Because we've had how many clubs in the last couple of years that's become bankrupt? I mean, Wigan are the latest one to now, go under financial problems. So it does make sense to have it. The only thing that concerns me is how easy it is to break rules and then have a little fine and then get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I guess if we did it, they would fine us maybe 15 million, 10 million, 20 million. Let's be honest, what the hell is that to Man United? I mean, Man United have about 150 sponsorship deals anyway.
Yeah.
From everything from Chevrolet to noodle shops in Japan. I mean, like, it's nothing. So they just need to be stronger. That for me is the be all and end all. UEFA, FIFA come together and say, look, we can't let these clubs run like this anymore.
Yeah.
We're the governing bodies. We run this. Is a FIFA World Cup, UEFA Champions League. We're the governing bodies. We will take control of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And if they go to CAS, we take it even higher.
Mm-hmm.
Prove to them that they need to stay within books, because we all know, all of us sitting here right now, anyone watching, we all know City don't generate the money that they spend.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. They're still a small club.
Yeah.
It's not even a hating thing. They're still a small club.
Yeah.
It's just
it is what it is. It's just facts. Like Tottenham don't generate money naturally. So what they did was build a new stadium and get NFL games popping off in there because it brings in money. That's what they need to do. See, don't make that kind of money. So, be stronger and get them out of the Champions League.
Yeah. And obviously, moving on, like in the climate that we're in, with the Black Lives Matter fever, if that's what you want to call it, with the Premier League, there's still players suffering from online racial abuse. You had Wilfred Zaha abused by a 12-year-old, and then McGoldrick also suffered racial abuse. And it seems as if, in terms of social media, that will always be there. And I don't see how, Twitter and Instagram, how they plan to deal with that. But in your opinion, especially on the football front, Michael, how would you deal with these situations to ensure that, it's not happening? Because it's not fair on the players. All you're doing is working and someone's racially abusing you for your work.
I think Zaha in the video that said, need to get people to put all their details out there on the social media before you let them have an account, so that it sort of certifies that if they're going to make this kind of comment, there's no place to run or hide. We've got your details. This person did it. It is what it is. There's a scary trend for me happening here. I don't know if anyone's really realized it, but every young kid that's been caught for racial abusing maybe Zaha or Ian Wright or whatever recently, I feel like there's some sort of scary trend going on here. It's the era of social media and all that kind of stuff. I've noticed that all these people that have been caught will get bombarded with comments on their Instagram, so on and so forth. Go private, change their bio and say apology video coming out soon. Their followers grow. They get a video out. They apologize. If they get arrested, they're young. There's a slap on their wrist. Don't do it again. We know how it is. We know they're not going to get any real punishment for it. And then they go again, they come back on social media, maybe a couple of months later, their followers are big, and suddenly everyone's forgotten. I feel like there's a scary trend happening here. I feel like people are taking advantage of this situation, if I'm being honest. Because I'm seeing these things, I'm like, these are 12-year-olds. These are kids. Kids shouldn't be messaging. No kid should message Wilfred Zaha. No kid should even message any of us. Forget about it, just him. Any of us can say what they were saying to him. You know what I mean? And it's scary to me because I've noticed it. I've been watching all these little ones being exposed week in and week out. I'm just like, they all have the same thing going on. The same video will come out. The same bio will come out. They're all growing followers. Imagine that. You racially abuse someone and people follow you for it. This is what it is. It's the era of being popular one way or another on social media, and they know they'll get away with it. As for how to stop it, I've had so many ideas. I genuinely don't know which one works, because they'll find one way or another to keep doing this.
Yeah, it's very difficult to kind of come up.
And this country isn't stiff enough on people being racially abusing other people.
And even football isn't stiff enough on What about you, Aaron? What do you think?
Bro, I definitely agree with what Mike said there. Absolutely agree. But there's just so many questions when I see stuff like this. Even when it first happened to Ian Wright, there's so many questions, and I'm like, how is it possible that in 2020 people can just make up social media accounts and just abuse people for free? Like, for me, maybe it's just because of the way I think, but what is the thought process behind, I'm gonna go, like, how does your brain process to, like, I'm gonna go to Ian Wright's page, I'm gonna send him a racial abusive message, and I'm gonna be happy with it? Like, how is that even possible? If that's a kid doing it, that just proves that it's an educational thing. It's what your parents taught you, it's what your grandparents taught you, or people around you in your family. Because the 12-year-old cannot be thinking these things by himself or by herself. Another thing that I asked myself is, or that I was annoyed with, is all these social media platforms that we're all using, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. A few months back when we played against Norwich away, Martial scored a fantastic goal. One of my friends posted the clip of the goal on his Instagram. So I was like, I like this, so I'm going to do the same thing. So I screen recorded this on my phone, and obviously I cropped it, everything, and I posted it on my own Instagram. Bro, before I even knew it, bear in mind, on my whole existence on Instagram, I never had a warning, never had nothing, because I never breached any rules. Before I even knew it, my Instagram account got blocked for a week. For posting that goal from Martial. You've breached copyright rules of so and so and so and rare. So I'm like, hold on a minute. I can get blocked for that, but people can just give out racial abuse without even getting warnings or nothing. It's something just doesn't sit right with me. And the same way you apply these rules to, like, copyrights for music or for videos, because sometimes I even post stuff on my story, and when there's a certain song playing from my phone, they block the post. They block the post from my story because copyright this, copyright that. The same way you guys apply these rules to music or video content, apply these same rules to racial abuse, please, because this is not fair. There's no way in 2020 that should be happening, and people should just get away with it. And like Mike just said, and like Zaha said in his video, let people create social media accounts with their passport details, or I don't know, ID details, whatever it is, driver's license, whatever you got that's got your picture on it, your name, your address, your email address, anything that the police can trace in case you make such a comment.
Yeah, I think you're right. To be fair, when people do it, they don't really see the seriousness of it. They don't see the effects. You know, if you're someone who, you know, has always had that privilege, wherever you go, you're not the standout person, or, you know, people are not looking at you funny, or people are not talking down on you, or people are not making any racial comments. You don't see the big deal, and people don't realize that when you abuse someone, we can brush it off, but we're still human beings. You know what I mean? Like, Aaron, you're thinking, what thought process do you go through to think, let me call him this name, let me call him that name? You see what I mean? So to just feel like we have people like that around us or watching the same game, and these people are watching their football clubs with black players and supporting them. So you just got to think, why is it that you're happy to support that black player and sing his name, but then go and abuse out? Like, is very difficult to understand, you know, until you're in that situation. So I agree with everyone that social media needs to take more responsibility in ensuring that people, even if you want to have an anonymous account, that's fine, but your profile should be done with your details. So if you choose to do that, you can be found and you can be dealt with. Because the more people are scared about being caught, the less, you know, the less they'll sort of be sending people abuse. Because like Michael said, they do it for attention. They do it for attention because they feel like either I'm not going to get caught. And Ian Wright and Zaha said it, they receive so many that they can't go through every single one of them and be posting it. That's draining for them. Do you get what I mean? So social media definitely needs, and even I feel like the Premier League can get involved. They can get involved and work with these social media platforms to ensure that this is not happening to their players. But like you said, you know, it always comes down to money. If Zaha getting abused is not losing anyone money, if Ian Wright getting abused is not losing anyone money, if McGoldrick getting abused is not losing anyone money, we're just gonna carry on as normal. So, but thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.